Since I've been doing the Cool Colas channel, I've gotten a lot of hate comments, but the one that I got recently, it was interesting, and I can tell that this woman has a lot of hate, vitriol, and smoke for black men, and we need to get all into it. I'm your host, Cool Colas, and you are now tuning into a new video on my channel. So let's go ahead and get into it. On the video that I recently did about y'all's girl Brickgate Bay, I had a black woman who commented on this video, and she left a comment that I found to be rather interesting. And when I say rather interesting, it was pretty damn hateful. And I want to read it to y'all, and I want to give you all my reaction to what I heard here. And this is what she said, and I quote, this is a direct quote. "Couldn't pay me enough to date a black man. As a black woman who is well-traveled and well-educated, I'd never date outside my race, but black men are not on my list. I'm tired. They're lazy, dirty, useless, uneducated, and weak. It's embarrassing how white men have defended me more than worthless black men. When I was young, black men were worth something. Now, because most were raised by sorry, single black mothers, they are a public nuisance. She didn't need to lie and make up stories." Okay, so let's just break this down piece by piece. So let's start with the first statement that she made. "Couldn't pay me enough to date a black man." So here's what's interesting about this, y'all. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to post her picture, but I'm going to give you a visual, and you can use your imagination to come up with what you would visualize when I speak about it this way. So this is a woman who is in her 60s. She has no titties, she has no ass, and on a scale of 1 to 10, most dudes would probably say she's a 3 or below. So I just want to start there before we even go into anything else. I mean, this is a massively unattractive looking woman. This woman looks like a combination between the Crypt Keeper, that shriveled up fish in SpongeBob, who was supposed to be that one fish's grandma. I'm gonna show you a picture of that too. And Skeletor. Like the way she looks, I'm surprised that she didn't say, "Hi, hey, I'm Skeletor." Like this was a very unattractive broad. So let's just start there. Point in saying that is for her to say that no one could pay her to date a black man. You couldn't pay most black men to even have sex with you. So let's just start there, because I saw how you looked, and it's pretty damn atrocious. Then she also says, "I never date outside of my race, but black men are not on her list." At some point, she also talks about how it's embarrassing how white men have defended her more than worthless black men. So that's very interesting. Again, she has a lot of vitriol and a lot of smoke. And if I had that damn face, I probably would have a lot of smoke too, because why the fuck do you look like that? And it's not your old age. It's not because you're 60. It's because you're ugly as hell. So let's just start there. The second thing that I want to say is this. When it comes to that statement right there, I simply just don't believe her. I believe that she was getting down on some hella Vienna sausage, and she just didn't want to really admit it. Because the way that she even phrased that, why go back and throw in that white men have defended you and all this other stuff? You probably are over there just drooling over white zaddy, and you just don't want to admit it. Because let's be real, for you to say, "I wouldn't date outside of my race, but I wouldn't date black men," what the hell are you doing? Are you like the bitch in Florida who was marrying the damn tree? Like your ass humping some damn apple trees and shit? It's interesting that she's saying that she's in her 60s, because my mama is in her 60s, but she looks 20 years older than her. And then this chick is up here talking about, "I'm tired." Yeah, you look real tired in the face. On a serious note though, I'm talking about her looks and all that, but I have a feeling that because of her look, she probably was rejected and maybe even roasted a lot growing up. And as a result, she has a certain level of hatred, because for her to be that venomous towards black men and that bitter, especially at the age of 60, it shows a lot about her, because let's be real. When it comes to the way she looked, I'm going to be real with you. There's no black man who would ever be interested in dusting the cobwebs off of that coochie. I'm just going to be real. I saw what she looked like. Nobody would be interested in even taking that for a spin after 18 shots of 1800. I guarantee you that no black man would give a fuck about trying to smash that, let alone even let her basically suck on their Johnson. Before I go on, I would just want to make it painfully clear. No, I do not feel bad about roasting a black woman who is my mama's age. And the reason why I don't feel bad about it is because this right here is the original form of Shea Butter Sambaism, y'all. I always talk about Shea Butter Mamas. And this is the perfect example of it. She's either a Shea Butter Mama or a Shea Butter Auntie. And I'm going to tell you why this is really important here. The thing about Shea Butter Mamas, y'all, is that they take that bitterness, that anger, that hatred that they have, and they pass it on to the chicks that a lot of y'all are trying to date today. They have this manifested misandry because of shit like this. This is the original form of misandry. They pick bad men, they become bitter, and then they pass that down. This is the form of Shea Butter Sambaism that seldom gets called out because everybody is afraid to call out mama in her shitty behavior. Now, I want to be clear. I do not know this woman, but I see patterns of things that are problematic here. And I'm willing to even believe that some of the things that she's showing here weren't just problematic for black men. They also were problematic for black women, because a lot of women who exhibit these same traits are very venomous, jealous, and also hateful when it comes to how they deal with other black women, and that being a lot of times their daughters or younger black women who they interact with. A lot of times they're very hateful, they're very spiteful, and because they're bitter, they try to pass that down onto them. And a lot of times it even ends up in them being mentally, emotionally, and verbally abusive towards their daughters. And I mean, you can go on the internet right now and there's tons of videos of young black women talking about how their mother was abusive towards them and telling stories about all the stuff that they said and they did and the ways that they treated them and how they had to cut contact with them. They had to cut contact with their own mother because of how horrible she was towards them. So I'm seeing a lot of this in the way that she's actually speaking. So although I'm sitting here making jokes and talking about the way she looks, I want to be clear that this behavior is problematic. These are the types of women who poison the women that a lot of y'all are trying to get with today, and you're saying is the problem. No, the real problem was this type of Shea Butter Mama who would behave in this way and think it was acceptable to leave a comment like this in my inbox on YouTube. And just in case you need the reinforcement, I want to be clear. You all as black men who are productive and do great things and sacrifice and all that, you all are kings. Always see yourselves as kings. Don't ever sit around and let mammies like this go around and make negative comments about you and you internalize that or take that to heart or accept the labels that you are given. You are not worthless. You are not useless. You are not weak. You are strong, and you have to deal with a lot of shit that the world throws at you. We as black men have to basically live life on very hard mode with one life all the damn time. It's not like the suspected white supremacists, the white supremacists, whatever you want to say, where they get a cheat code in everything that they damn do. We have to live life on the hardest difficulty that we possibly are able to. And the reason why is because we are living in a system of white supremacy that already makes it 10 times harder for us to do anything. On top of the fact that, again, we have misandrists like this bitch who will go and make comments about how worthless we are and also poison a lot of us to believe that this is the norm for black women, when in actuality, these are the types of women that are trying to create women who are going to act and respond in this type of way. What's funny here too about this, as I'm reading this comment, is she says, black men were worth something. Now because most were raised, oh, no, I'm sorry. She said, when I was young, black men were worth something. Now because most were raised by single black mothers, they are a public nuisance. See, this bitch doesn't know if she wants to blame black men, if she wants to blame single black mothers. So this goes back to what I'm saying. Like, she's just trying to find anybody to blame, which means that she would just as likely, from my perspective, abuse a black man just like she would just as likely abuse a black woman. And these are the types of broads that are in your school systems. They're at your jobs. You know, they're in politics. These are the types of individuals that will kiss white ass, bake them cookies, and do all types of shit. And then when you are at the staff meeting, they're sitting there trying to embarrass you in front of your white coworker. She's that type of broad. So I just want to make it very clear that there's a specific thing that's going on here. And I was not going to let this shit slide. There was no way that I wasn't going to make a video about how she thought that it would be cool to sit there and denigrate us as black men. And I want to be clear, and I want to say this one more time if I didn't make it clear before. When it comes to the things that people say, as black men, you do not have to accept the labels that other people give you just because it's something that's popular. Society, and us living in a society that is dominated by white supremacy, has made it so that it's normalized for people to attack us. Because think about it, the audacity of this bitch to come into my comment section and think that she can talk greasy about black men to me, another black man. Also, if I recall correctly, I thought she said something about us being uneducated and lazy. So I wanted to kind of dive deep into that as well. You know, first of all, let's look at some statistics and some numbers. So the National Center for Education Statistics reported that between 2000 and 2022, the number of black men who were aged 25 plus with a bachelor's degree had increased by more than 80% from the past. Also, too, with high school completion rates for black men specifically, it was nearly at 90%, which was up from 60%, which was in the 1900s. Black men have earned over 35,000 STEM degrees, and we have also been instrumental in earning all types of degrees, from becoming lawyers to becoming scientists to becoming professors, attorneys, military officers, and many other different and important professions in the world. So there are tons of professions that we've actually excelled in, not to mention the fact that we have tons of patents, not to mention the fact that we have great entertainers, also not to mention that we have nearly 3 million black-owned businesses across the United States. And let's be clear, when it comes to education, it's not about even really getting a degree or something that's scholarly. It's about life experience. And anybody knows that black men experience anti-black racism in a system of white supremacy and still have found a means to be able to excel. So nobody is listening to that racist ass stereotype that this bitch is trying to push on us. And somehow you're black cracked. That's all I had to say about that geriatric broad, though. But anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I definitely will have more to come in the future, so make sure you stay tuned. In the meantime, I would love it if you like this video, subscribe, share, and also hit the bell icon so you get notifications for whenever I come out with new content on this channel. And then when you are done, I would love it if you left me a comment below. That way I can get back to whatever it is that you had to say and give you a worthwhile comment. Other than that, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out, y'all.